Hi everyone, it's Lori from Lollipop Paper and LollipopPaperandInk.com. I'm here today with our third video in the Back to Basics series, and today we're going to be talking all about the ink pads, old and new. So you all know that Stampin' Up! Introduced many new colors with this catalog, and so with that refresh came, and with all the new colors came a new design, a new formulation of the ink. So let's just go over a few of the details that we need to remember. The case is really pretty now. It's very sleek. It opens up like a compact and just slides right in. So it kind of is a no-brainer. It was trying to get people to remember how to open up the old ones. It was just a lot more work was involved with that. So these are a lot sleeker. They are they stack much better. I'll show you how they stack in just a sec. But the main thing is there were a lot of complaints in the beginning that it was so difficult to actually open the case, and that is true. This case is brand new, so you can see that I do have to struggle with it. I do need to put it on a flat surface and really use both hands to get it in and to get it out. And a lot of people came up with different ideas to make that easier. Putting a birthday candle in and around all of the sliding areas. I don't think it's necessary. I think that really the best thing to do is just use them, because this is brand new. Like I said, this one you can see how easy it is, because this happens to be my favorite new color and I'm using it all the time. So it's super simple to just operate it that way. So I would say, just to remedy that, stiffness, just keep using them and it will just get easier and easier. So just like before, they always came with the label in the back. But this time they have an extra one. It comes in 4 different languages, but they have one on the bottom here, and I'll show you what we'll do with that in a sec. So we'll take this off. They also recommend that when you are done taking off these labels, that you do remove the whole pad, the whole sticker, because it does affect how it stacks. So I didn't know that was the case. So what we're going to do is we'll take this is just how we can label them. This is just like before. You take that off and you put it on the front, so it's easy to identify it. Oh, it's really sticky. Okay, so that's on there. Oh, for Pete's sake, Lori. Okay, so that's on. Now what we have is that they've given us I don't want to get my fingers completely covered in blue ink. So they added a blank one this time, which is great, because once we have our cases open and we're all in a line, and they're all in a line, and we're trying to do our project, sometimes the ink pads look very similar in color. So this way you place this one in here in that little slot, and you know exactly what color you're dealing with. Now some people write it in there. I don't think that's necessary. I can pretty much identify it from there. So that's for that. Now stacking, this is how much better these things stack. There's little grommets or dots, I don't know what you want to call them, on the bottom side of them, and on the top side you can see there's little indents. Can you see that? Little indents of where they would sit. So they stack so much nicer like that instead of the old ones. So let's see, we have 5. So this is 5 stacked up. They're nice, they don't move around too much. If I took 5 of my old cases, look at, first of all, they're not steady, they don't sit up like that. But look at how much space you save with just using the streamlined version. So that's another reason why I just love them. It's so much easier if you're traveling. You can just keep them all together like that. So, okay, so that's how we stack them now. The surface of the ink has stayed the same, But what is different is that they reformulated the ink, and they put a defoamer in there so that it doesn't bubble up. Some of the pads, you'll notice when you first opened it up, it's just too bubbly, and it does affect the stamped image when you're working with it. So this does not happen with any of these, with any of our new ink pads. As far as re-inking them, they recommend that when you do buy your ink pad, that you do buy the re-inker at the same time, so you never know if you're in the middle of the night and you run out, you don't want to have to pay the $6.95 shipping charge. So have them on hand. It's always good to do that. So I'll re-ink this one for you to show you how we do that. Also, another advantage, this is very juicy, to having an ink pad on hand is for watercoloring. Now, in the past, it was really easy. It's to get ink on the lid. It's a little harder this time, but you just turn it and you squeeze just the same way, but I have to squeeze a little bit harder to get it done this time. And you see that it really didn't work. This is a very light color, so this is where my re-inkers come in handy, because then I would always just, I'm doing watercoloring, always just use it right from there. So let me show you how we re-ink these. A lot of people use their bone folder. I don't want to ruin mine, and so I just use a plastic spoon. So really, you just put a few dots all over, and you just go back and forth with that. I'm going to add a little bit more. This is I probably should have used a darker color, but darker colors, ink pads, do not get along very well with me. So, and that's all I would do, just go back and forth until you have a nice even pattern. Some of this in here too. And you just make sure that it covers all four corners, back and forth, and that's it. It's very simple. So that is the advantage to me. That is why I use the inkers, definitely for my watercoloring. Let me see if it works with this darker color. I am squeezing pretty hard here. And it does work a little bit better. So, you know, so you can use either way, that's fine. So that's how you re-ink it, and that's how you can stack them. So let's just go quickly through some of the other pads that we do have available. We had, I should say, the basic black, which I really did love. They don't have that available at this time. I'm hoping that it does come back, so I'm holding on to mine. But it is, it's a permanent ink, and I would use this for all my watercoloring. If I was using my aqua pen or my Write markers, that's what I would use this for. It's a very clean, crisp image that you get. Right now, if you're doing the watercoloring, you need to use the StazOn pad, black, so that, and it does work the same. I just, like I said, have a problem with dark colors. They just get all over the place with me. So, okay, so now the other pad, black ink that we have is the Memento. That's Tuxedo Black Memento here. This is what we use for our blends when we're using our markers, our blends markers, because these are alcohol based, and they work great with this ink. There's no bleeding, and so this is a definite must-have if you have your blends and you want to be using that. The other type that we have is the Versamark. And we know the Versamark we use for our heat embossing, which is always comes out perfect. The other thing that sometimes I use the Versamark for, and let me just quickly show you how I do that, is if I wanted to do a background stamp, and for whatever project. So I'm just picking this. This is from the Nothing Sweeter bundle. And this is not the right block, but so if I just wanted to have a background of an image that I would just put randomly behind the card, it's just a cute way to have a like a monochromatic. You see that? Like a monochromatic design with your card for a background. So I do use that a lot, often with my Versamark. So I think that's it. We covered all the different kinds of ink pads that we have. The other thing I should say is with the re-inkers, they do work. The new re-inkers work on the old pads, and they work obviously on the new pads too. If you put it on an old pad though, you will lose the defoaming agent that's in there. But if you have them and you have the colors, I would, definitely use it up. That's what they're there for. So thank you for joining me today for the third Back to Basics video. I do post to my lollipoppaperandink.com blog just about every day with paper crafting ideas, as well as Stampin' Up! Products that I'm sharing with you today, all of these ink pads and markers. So in addition, I would like you to be sure to subscribe to my weekly newsletter for exclusive offers and promotions and giveaways, and I do have free PDFs that I do every week when I send those out. So if you need a holiday catalog, please let me know. I'd be happy to pop one in the mail for you right away if you're not currently working with a demonstrator. And as always, I'd be so grateful if you did choose me as your demonstrator for your next order. Thanks so much for joining me today. Bye for now. See you next time.